What teams feel like they kind of stuck in that purgatory, where they like in that middle ground?
It was the Bulls, but since they traded DeMar, I still feel like they're still slightly in there. They still like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
They're good enough to be an 11 seed this year, maybe.
Yes,
that's currently constructed, which is purgatory to me.
I think the Clippers are now in that territory as well.
I think the Clippers, yeah.
Like I don't see them trading Kawhi, but I also wouldn't be against them exploring trading Kawhi. But like I think he would have to want to be traded as well.
We're gonna do it in the second half of the show, but like the question I have for the Kings is like, is DeMar good enough to put them in the playoffs?
And I be feeling like we be thinking the same thing.
My question is pretty damn simple.
And if he isn't, or if they can't get to the playoffs, what do they do after that? Because it kind of seemed like they capped. Are you trading Sabonis? Are you trading Fox? Are you trading Keegan Murray? Like they're running out of different options. So that I feel like they're not on the Bulls level, but they're in that middle where it's like we talking about can they make the playoffs after getting a DeMar DeRozan? So it's like if they can't, because there's a world where they might not make it, it's still no hate. And then it's like, what do they do from there?
The Warriors are in there for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but I also
feel like they're in.
I wouldn't consider
it's a bittersweet purgatory.
Yeah,
because like it's just the end of the. It's just like the end of the book.
They just won a championship. But when you look at like where they are feel middle.
yeah,
they are definitely in the middle of the pack. But I also feel like it's just like they kind of meant to be there. I think
they meant to be there.
I think there are just so many different avenues they could have gone through.
Just because like their rosters.
It's like the band broke up.
I think that's the problem though. Where like after you win a championship, obviously you're on highs because again we won one without Kevin, and like it's like a big moment for Steph Curry to get his first Finals MVP and yada yada yada.
That was weak.
But the whole trying to play 2 timelines for 3 years got them to the point where they are now. It's like Steph Curry and a bunch of really solid role players, which is cool. That might be able to get them 44 wins out. Like it could be a decent season, but you're not looking at that roster saying a contender. And I feel like if they would have bought into one of the timelines, the Steph Curry timeline, they could still be competitive to this day. And I don't think they're competitive for a championship.
We came in and we talked not every, but like damn near every day in those years about what the Warriors could do with that second overall pick in a trade, what the Warriors could do with 7 and 14 in a trade. We talked about that for so long. Hey, man, and you know what's crazy? Look at their team, and they going to have that pick, and they going to have them 2 picks, and they drafted those picks.
What James Wiseman could have done if he just never really touched the floor and you just kind of like let the world just hang on the interest of what he could be.
What he could, yeah.
And you could have had, like, he's still a second pick. Like, you could have sold that and got something.
Just draft LaMelo.
Yeah.
But I feel like
LaMelo's one of the guys that was in that range that can help you bridge that gap because that's how talented he is.
With that team, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It just also
you could have made him a mini Iguodala.
They was also looking for
now with the defense.
Maybe you could have got him to defend.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Maybe
you're right.
would have gotten in his head.
Yeah,
you're right.
He has to play defense.
Defense is something that if you get that established early, you get a Jaden McDaniels because Jaden McDaniels was an offensive player coming up the ranks.
Yeah, I also think defense is like a culture thing. I don't think there's a defensive culture in Charlotte.
What a different just like setting is Charlotte, where there's really no structure to like Warriors. It's probably Draymond creating a lot of that.
I do think the LaMelo we've grown to love comes from not having the structure partly too.
Like the Chino Hills and then playing and like imagine him if he would have somehow ended up in San Antonio. I would love to see him in San Antonio.
Some of his best basketball before he came to the pro when he was with at that Spire school and it was a little bit more structured than at Chino Hills and he was good. He was facilitating.
That's when he went to that, bro. I swear he probably was like
with Rocket Watts.
He went through that big old growth spurt where he just came back and he was all of a sudden like 6'8".
Yeah.
Must be nice.
But yeah, man, the Warriors. Yeah, what were they thinking? Because now they in that mode of like, man, we gonna commit to Steph, whatever we need. But it's like y'all had plenty of time to do that. Yeah. Y'all could have had hey, the way things is going, y'all could have probably had Jaylen Brown. Remember the talks about Jaylen Brown to say it was so many different players and things that we look at now and it's like, man, no, there's no way he would get traded. But it's like back then, you could have had some shit.
They were just holding on to Moses Moody and Kuminga for so long.
My thing is, though, you never should have drafted them.
Yeah.
I think the value in draft picks are letting the team that you're trying to trade with draft who they want.
Yeah.
Because then somebody could have got Kuminga and Trey Murphy.
Somebody free Trey Murphy. or free Brandon Ingram so Trey Murphy can spread his wings, one or the other.
Try to boast at what I look like. Get them down, try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA on the ESPN.